They thought it was just a sunrise, but it wasn't. At 2 a.m., the birds began to sing. The skies above Cuba turned crimson. Telegraph operators screamed as their machines shocked them. Sparks flew from paper. Compasses spun with no direction. And in the middle of the night, people stepped outside and could read their newspapers by the glow of the aurora. It was 1859, the Carrington event, the most powerful solar storm ever recorded. And it could happen again. Back then, Earth's magnetic field was strong. Today, it's 10% weaker, and it's weakening faster every single year. The invisible force that has protected us for billions of years is fading. Earth's magnetic field is more than a compass. It's a shield, a vast invisible force generated deep within the planet's molten core, deflecting solar wind and cosmic radiation. Without it, Earth would be as barren as Mars. It holds our atmosphere in place. It guards our DNA. It keeps our planet alive. But it's not unbreakable, and it's not forever. In 1989, a solar storm hit Quebec, Canada. The storm lasted just a few hours, but it blacked out the power grid for over 9 million people. Transformers exploded. Electricity arced through systems designed to protect us. And that was a minor storm. If the Carrington event happened today, with a weakened magnetic field and a planet dependent on electricity, the consequences would be catastrophic. Our satellites would be fried, GPS would stop, planes grounded, banks offline, hospitals in the dark, food supply chains shattered, water pumps silenced, cities would fall apart, one by one. And the strangest part? This isn't a theory, it's a cycle. Scientists have discovered that Earth's magnetic field reverses its polarity. That means the North and South poles switch places. It's happened before, dozens of times. But what's shocking is how fast it can happen. A recent discovery in a cave in China revealed that during one flip, the process took just a century. In geologic terms, that's a blink. During these reversals, the magnetic field weakens dramatically, sometimes down to 10% of its strength. In that window of vulnerability, Earth is exposed to the full force of space. Radiation, plasma, solar storms. We are already in that window. Since the 1800s, the magnetic field has been weakening. The North Pole is moving 34 miles per year towards Siberia. The South Atlantic anomaly, the weak spot in our magnetic shield, is expanding. Satellites fail with that energy. Radiation leaks through. Something is changing, and it's accelerating. Our ancestors knew. They didn't have satellites or digital sensors. But they watched the skies, they recorded the patterns, they saw the sun flare, the stars vanish, the sky ignite. They called it Ragnarok, the time of fire, the demon days. And they warned us. Across civilizations, across continents, ancient cultures tell the same story. The sky turning red, fire falling from above, strange sounds in the air, creatures that do not belong. And they all built the same defenses, rituals of flame, festivals of light, monuments that align with the solstice, that mark the return of the sun. They remembered what we forgot. Yule logs, Christmas candles, the Dongji festival in China, Shabi Yalda in Persia, Saturnalia in Rome. Different names, same ritual. Keep the flame alive through the darkest days. Not to celebrate, but to survive. And it wasn't symbolic. These rituals align with periods of known solar activity, verified by ice core samples. When solar storms raged, the ancients lit their fires, and they built structures like Stonehenge, the Great Pyramids, and the Nazca Lines weren't random. They were aligned with stars, built on geomagnetic anomalies, made of limestone and quartz, materials that conduct electricity. Some believe these sites are part of a global energy grid, a planetary circuit, designed not just to honor the cosmos, but to channel its wrath. Because in those moments when Earth's shield collapses, the barrier between realities may also weaken. That's where things get strange. A real, declassified military document exists, Conplan 8888. It outlines the US military's plan to respond to a zombie outbreak. Most assume it's satire, but the first line reads, "This plan was not actually designed as a joke." It describes scenarios involving the reanimation of biological matter during geomagnetic collapse. Plasma, it suggests, may behave with intelligence, may respond to consciousness, may interact with dead tissue. A 1976 CIA study on electromagnetic effects on human tissue supports this. It describes plasma exhibiting intelligent behavior under certain conditions. 3 pages remain classified. And there's more. Soviet researchers studied plasma ghosts, entities visible only during geomagnetic events. They believed these beings were always present, but hidden, until the shield falls. What if the ancients knew that too? Egyptian mummies were embalmed with conductive metals like gold and copper, special salts, materials that form circuits, not just for religious reasons, but for energy regulation. They weren't just preserving bodies, they were wiring them. Some fear that in the next great storm, plasma will seek vessels, conductive vessels, organic vessels, and Earth is covered in them. It's a terrifying thought, one that blurs the line between science and science fiction. But even if none of that is true, even if zombies and phantoids are fantasy, the solar threat is very real. The Carrington event was real. The 1921 storm was real. Quebec 1989 was real. These aren't theories, they're history. And scientists from NASA, NOAA, and ESA all agree it will happen again. The only question is when. And when it does, the world we built, powered by fragile networks, tangled cables, and invisible signals, will crumble in hours. We rely on electricity for everything: communication, transportation, medicine, food, clean water. We assume it will always be there. But the sun doesn't care about our assumptions. The ancients didn't assume. They observed. They adapted. They left behind monuments, not just as tombs or temples, but as warnings. And we are not listening. Instead of learning from them, we dismiss them. Instead of preparing, we laugh. Until the sky glows, until the aurora dances at the equator, until the lights go out and the silence sets in. Then we'll remember. But it might be too late, because our civilization runs on electricity, and plasma destroys it. Our ancestors were not primitive. They were cautious. They were attentive. They carved warnings into stone so we wouldn't forget. But we did. The magnetic field is weakening. The pole is shifting. The sun is entering a cycle of increased activity, and all it takes is one storm, one flash from the sun, one invisible wave of plasma, and the 21st century is over. Everything we know, our technology, our systems, our security, is vulnerable to the cosmos. Not because we're weak, but because we built everything on a force we don't control. The ancients respected that force. We ignored it. But we may not get another chance, because when the solar wind comes, when the sky cracks open and the dead air turns electric, it won't matter what we believed. It will only matter what we prepared for. And if we're not ready, if we mock the warnings carved in stone, then the final irony will be this: a planet filled with signs of caution, but no one left to read them.